Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In today's episode, we're continuing our ongoing coverage of the war between the Islamic Republic of Iran, the United States of America, and Israel. Now, there has been quite some, I would say, inaccurate reporting that has occurred about a recent engagement. You know what? I don't even want to call it an engagement. Let's just call it what it is: a seaborne execution, right? And that was the Iranian warship that was sunk by a Los Angeles-class nuclear attack boat in the Arabian Sea, possibly the Indian Ocean, just west of Sri Lanka. Now, what's interesting is that if you listen to the quote-unquote mainstream media, it is absolutely incredible how inaccurate and just how much lack of research is done by the media. And not only that, I would say that even the U.S. Pentagon may be saying some things that are inaccurate. And what I mean by that is within the historical context of what happened. So, what you are hearing from the mainstream media is this is the first use of a submarine using a torpedo to sink a adversarial warship since essentially what would be, excuse me, the sinking of the cruiser Belgrano of the Argentinian Navy back during the Falklands War, right? So the common thread right now is that the last ship that was sunk by a submarine engagement with a torpedo was back in 1982 during the Falkland Islands campaign. This is simply not true. The actual last use of a torpedo in a subsurface vessel, a submarine, against a surface vessel actually took place between North Korea and South Korea back in 2010. This is the South Korean corvette that was engaged by what is believed to be a North Korean, what you would call a midget submarine, that had the capability of firing a single heavyweight North Korean torpedo against a surface vessel. Now, when that North Korean attack occurred, let's look, make no mistake, that attack against that North Korean corvette was absolutely a heavyweight torpedo against a subsurface vessel. That is something, if one looks into the documents of history, it does seem like it is plausible that it may not have been, but most observers believe that it was in fact a North Korean heavyweight torpedo. Now, some of you may have remembered that it wasn't that long ago that this occurred, but it did result in the loss of the entire ship and all hands on board. Excuse me. And that is what happened. But again, the mainstream media will continue to say that the last use of a torpedo against a surface vessel was back during the 1980s Falkland campaign. Now, that's, again, just simply not true. It was in 2010 and it was the North Korean Navy, which they still to this day deny, engaged and destroyed this South Korean warship. Now, obviously, in terms of establishing deterrence, right, the North Koreans have proven that through a significant military capability that they could maintain deterrence even after an act of war such as this, engaging and destroying another nation's warship with a heavyweight torpedo. Even the South Koreans are hesitant about pressing what happened, again because North Korea has established deterrence. They were able to attack and sink an adversary's warship, and because they have deterrence through a high degree of military capability or perceived high degree of military capability, there's no action taken in this specific incident. And there was U.S. ships in the area. I believe the U.S. Harper's Ferry and some other vessels as well were operating in the area as well. But again, they were hesitant about moving into some of these areas because of exactly what happened and the possible threat deterrence created by North Korea. So again, not just nuclear weapons, but again, having that might makes right. And that's kind of where we set. Now, if we go back to our map here, again, the ship in question that was sunk by the U.S. nuclear attack submarine did not stand a chance. It was not a scenario where the Iranian warship was actively pursuing a U.S. Navy subsurface vessel, and the Navy attack boat fired in self-defense. In all likelihood, a 99.9% chance that the Iranian warship did not even know it was being stalked by said submarine. And the last thing that these sailors probably felt was that large subsurface explosion, which broke the ship in two and sent it to the bottom of the ocean. But again, was that a military target that could have threatened that specific submarine? The answer is no. Could that Iranian warship have threatened and caused damage to other warships, possibly in the region? Yes, absolutely. Especially surface-based warships with its anti-ship missiles. It was a threat, and it was a legitimate military target. If the Iranians really believed that this was going to happen, maybe they should have just stayed in Sri Lanka and just vacated the ship there, but they didn't do that. They chose to board and then attempt to head back towards Bandar Abbas, and obviously they barely made it a few dozen miles off the coast of Sri Lanka before they were intercepted. But they never stood a chance, especially against a subsurface asset like a Los Angeles class nuclear attack boat. Just not possible. But again, the media reports that it was way back during the Falklands campaign, this last use of a submarine versus a ship. No, it was back in 2010, North Korea versus South Korea. And obviously, we're continuing to see basically the same tempo in the conflict. The U.S. continues to degrade and destroy Iranian military assets and security forces, while the Iranians continue to fire off ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and drones at a variety of targets throughout the Middle East. Now, of recently, the Iranians have opened it up a little bit. They have launched a drone strike against Azerbaijan, specifically this enclave over in this area here, and they went after the international airport of Azerbaijan in the Nakhchivan enclave of that area. But again, we will continue to cover and report. As always, thank you for joining us. Good day.